The Indian market opens strong. Bounce back from counting day lows continues. Realty, IT and PSU banking stocks lead the gains. It's the mid-caps that significantly outperform the frontliners.
BHEL jumps more than 12% after the company wins two orders worth over 7,000 crore rupees from subsidiaries of Adani Power.
NBCC2 climbs on the back of order wins as it gets multiple work orders worth nearly 500 crore rupees. The stock is up around 8%.
RVNL also surges as it receives a letter of acceptance for a project worth around 391 crore rupees from the Eastern Railway. The stock is up nearly around 8%.
The FMCG stocks, after 2 days of rally, take a bit of a breather as, we are seeing some bit of profit taking after hitting near record highs. The sector comes in for profit booking.
Hello and welcome to CNBC-TV18 HDFC Sky Election Headquarters. I'm Nigel D'Souza and joining me as always is Mangalam Malu. Well, Mangalam, boom, boom, boom. Yesterday, in fact, we were up close to 700 points. Today, we're up another 250 points. And what a move we are seeing, Mangalam. Just a few sessions ago, we went down close to 21,300. And in a matter of what, less than 2 sessions, we've gained close to 1,500 points on the Nifty. Wild swings.
Wild swings, Nigel, and it's interesting. Yeah. Even if you account for the volatility that we saw in the last 3 trading sessions, and you discount all of that, from Friday's close to now, we're still up around 300 points on the Nifty.
Indeed.
All of them are doing well. All of the indices, the Nifty bank just below that 50,000 mark, and the mid-caps, they are swinging hard. I mean, it's the T20 World Cup, which is currently underway in the US and West Indies, but out here, if you look at them, all of them are playing like it's the power play overs right now. Big moves. 2,000 stocks advancing for just about 180, which are on the lower side.
Well, that's right. Mangalam, stocks like HAL, they are up close to around 10% as we speak. But if you look at it week to date, actually, those stocks are still negative.
Yep.
Despite this big bounce that we're seeing from the lows, BEL as well, that's up close to around 7%. But I'll tell you what, for the week, it's still down close to around 5%. So there's a big bounce back in some of these PSU-related names, but some of them are still mildly negative for the week itself. Some of those, political as well as fundamental related stocks, JSPL, we had pointed it out yesterday as well. The stock was a little bit lower. It's moved back into the green now. It's up close to around 3% from the low point of the day. IMFA, that's Indian Metals and Ferroalloys, well, that stock as well had started off a little bit subdued. That's recovered. And KCPA, that's the other name. So 3-4 of them. Add to the list Amara Raja. For this week itself, that stock is up. You have, I think, the other one is Heritage Foods. That's up 45% in 3 sessions. Wow.
Absolutely, Nigel. Those stocks are doing extremely well. But, on the PSU front itself, I'm just looking at SBI. SBI is one of those rare counters which has actually turned positive for the week as well. Even as we saw a bit of selling in a lot of these PSU stocks over the last couple of days, and from those extremely sold levels, we are seeing a bit of a bounce back. So the bounce back looks big in today's trading session, but like Nigel pointed out, in perspective from where they were at the start of the week and to now, most of them are still in the red by a few percentage points. SBI, on the other hand, if you just take a look at this week's chart itself, despite all the volatility, a near 10% up move on Monday, thereafter a big decline a day before yesterday, and then some recovery today and yesterday. The stock up 5.5%, 831, makes it absolutely positive for the week, in line with where it closed on Friday itself. So this is one of those which is doing well. But let's welcome Sachidanand, who take care of Trade Bulls, for a quick technical check on the market. Sachi, if one was to look at the market, on a Friday to now basis, they wouldn't think that this is a week where we saw such wild swings. But be that as it may, after this recovery, what are your projections on where the market goes from here?
Good morning, Nigel. Good morning, Mangalam. Clearly, I think the recovery has been very steady. In fact, Nifty has again re-established that particular base at 22,200. And since then, there has been a very steady, up move. And even the sector rotation has been very confident. So right now, I think from a momentum perspective, we may see this particular rally getting stretched right up to 23,200, 23,100, and probably we may see an extended move post that. But as of now, the volatility has already cooled off. We are all back to normal business trends. So I think eventually we may see Nifty scaling towards fresh life highs. But as of now, So far as 22,680 is held on, probably we may see the continuation of this particular move. We are anticipating that today's expiry could be somewhere close to around 22,940, 23,000 itself. So I think this bullish momentum may stay.
Okay, all right. What about individual stocks then? You're saying that the bullish momentum can stay. 23,200 could be the near-term pit stop that you're looking at. What about individual stocks?
Nigel, there are two stock ideas on our radar. First of all, we have recommended these to our clients as well. Now, we have already seen a very strong pullback rally in all the PSU names. BPCL is one particular counter wherein the reward to risk is still favorable. It is forming a fresh floor at around 600 zone, and we are expecting that there could be a push towards 640 in a day or so. That's why we're recommending building long positions in BPCL, keeping a stop loss somewhere close to around 590. And we may see a swing towards 640 from a trading perspective as well. The other stock which has hit our radar, wherein the recovery has been kind of a V-shape, is Bajaj Finance. Now, the stock was in a low top, low bottom structure. Despite the market volatility, this particular stock did show a lot of resilience near the 6,800 mark. Since then, we have seen a V-shaped breakout. The breakout of the pattern is indicating a target somewhere close to around 70 to 30, and that's why we are recommending building fresh long positions here. Keep a stop loss somewhere close to around 6,910.
Right. Sachi, before we let you go, would you think that the FMCG spark that we saw in the last couple of trading sessions, is there a reason for the stocks to move back higher, or the rally that was done is done and dusted?
I think this particular move may sustain. In fact, if you look at the Nifty FMCG index itself, the index was consolidating and forming a base somewhere close to around 54,000 levels. And since then, we have seen a very strong breakout. So I think there are signs that this particular trend, at least on the index, should sustain. And we may see the index itself moving close to around 63,000 mark. So I think there's a good substantial upside which is left. We've already seen very good participation from counters like HUL and ITC so far. But I think this particular trend momentum may continue from here on as well. When we look at specific stock and the performance, HUL is displaying a kind of a broadening formation with its base being established somewhere close to around 2,300, and the upper end of this particular broadening formation is placed somewhere close to around 2,930. So there's a good amount of headroom which is still available, and every decline should be a good opportunity to accumulate these counters in one's portfolio.
All right, Sachi, thanks a lot for that. Dips in FMCG do offer buying opportunities, but he did give out his views on the index as well as a lot of individual stocks. Let's talk about a lot of these individual stocks now. IEX is the one which is surging after posting a strong business update for the month of May. The stock up nearly 7%. Vivek joins in with the details on that one. Vivek.
Well, that's right. So, the stock in focus is IEX, that is India Energy Exchange. Remember, it's the short-term power exchange market. So what the company did last evening was they reported their May operational performance. And when you're looking at the performance, look at the volumes. Total monthly volumes have jumped up 29% on a year-on-year basis, coming in over the 10,630 million units mark. Now, talking about just the pure electricity volumes, up 21% on a year-on-year basis. When you're talking about the day-ahead market price, it has come in at 5.3 rupees a unit, which the company says is almost a 20% discount to the bilateral agreements that companies get into with Discom. So they believe that the short-term market is a lot more lucrative as far as power buyers are concerned. Now, what they're saying going ahead, they expect more volume action, given the fact that sell-side liquidity is improving. They attribute it to number one, the government directive that coming in on sale of surplus unrequisitioned power on the power exchanges, along with that increased fuel supply, and also higher availability of generating units is something that's led to increased sell-side liquidity.
Okay, all right, Vivek, thanks a lot for that. But stay with us. What about Torrent Power? That's in focus. The Gujarat Electricity Regulatory Commission issued an order on determination of tariffs for the coming fiscal. Explain to us.
Well, that's right. So this has been something that, the street was anticipating for a long time. Largely, this particular event is net neutral, as per what analysts are saying. So, what's actually happened? Let's have a look at the entire event. GERC, that is, like you mentioned, the Gujarat Electricity Regulatory Commission, has gone ahead and issued the order, number one, for determination of the annual rate of return and also the tariffs for FY24 to FY25. Now, we passed through the entire document. The positive takeaways from this particular order are, number one, the company has received approval for all of its capex plans for this year. Along with that, there has been no change or capping as far as the return on equity is concerned. Along with that, the top charges that the company had provision for payment to Petronet LNG of close to 400 crore has been approved. However, there are a few setbacks that Torrent Power may choose to go ahead and appeal at a higher court. Number one, there has been a cut as far as benchmark T&D losses are concerned. Number two, the company is an important plant, which is the gas-based power plant, that is Sugen. Here, the PPA terms are slightly unfavorable now. The PPA term capping has been done at rupees 5.5 per unit. Now, this will be effective retrospectively since FY23. IIFL Security has written a note after this particular development. They're saying, by and large, the positives and the negatives are going ahead and nullifying themselves. They are not making any changes to the EPS estimates for the company. They do believe that the company may go ahead and appeal against the negative pointers in this particular order from the GERC.
All right, Vivek, thanks a lot for that. With that, we'll step into a short break, come back, get you on more on the markets and other stock-specific action on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Well, as we speak, a few stocks are bobbing around. Jubilant Foodworks, well, it's moved to the low point of the day. Some kind of profit taking being seen on that one, though for the week it's still up close to around 5%. A couple of other notable movers, Laurus Labs, big move out there. The stock is up close to 2.5%, was trading in the red. And another one that's moved up as well is REC, now up close to around 10%. But the one we're going to focus on is HL. It's buzzing in trade after it inaugurated a facility to support ISRO program. CLSA as well has issued a note on the stock. Upasana joins us to fill us in with all of those details. Upasana, take it away.
ISRO chairman inaugurates HAL facilities to support LVM3 programs. Mind you, currently the existing capacity allows only 2 LVM3 launches per year. This facility will support the production of 6 LVM3 rockets per year. And mind you, post-election results, CLSA had written a note on defense sector wherein it has retained outperform rating on HAL with a target price of 4,731. It says that the expensive valuations leave little space for execution error. Company has also given a EBITDA margin guidance of 32 to 33% in next 2 years. And for FY25, the company is guiding for a order book of 47,000 crores, excluding the MRO division. As of 31st March 2024, the company's order book stands in excess of 94,000 crores, and company says that it is confident of maintaining FY24 growth momentum on the back of robust order book and strong order pipeline.
Right, Upasana, thanks a lot for that. Seems like today there is a lot of news backing a lot of these PSU stocks as well. Order wins coming in for names like BHEL, NBCC, etc. Some news coming in from the ISRO and their orders for HAL, as Upasana pointed out as well. All of that with the underperformance that we saw in the last few trading sessions is leading to this pop that we're seeing in these names. But the other one which is in focus are all these city gas distributors as well. After brokerage house Citi has published a constructive note on the sector, a second one coming in the last couple of days. We have Sonal joining in to tell us more. Sonal.
Well, there are a couple of things which are happening with these gas names. Let me start with the Citi note first up, where they remain constructive on GAIL, IGL and MGL as well, and these are the preferred picks. They believe consolidation in CGD sector is likely going forward, and consolidation could benefit the larger, more experienced CGDs according to them. The second thing that they talk about is something that the other analysts have spoken about as well, is a possibility of gas coming under GST in the new NDA regime, and if that happens, that would benefit the entire value chain, allowing input tax credits and reducing costs for these companies as well. The second is two PNGRB notifications. The first one is allowing these companies to establish and operate LNG terminals. The LNG infrastructure would include receiving, storing, transporting LNG via their own terminals, because a lot of these companies have spoken about expanding from their current portfolio. The LNG terminal companies, they shall submit application for registration, and they should also furnish bank guarantees to the tune of around 1% of the estimated project cost or 25 crore rupees, whichever is less. Board, after examining the application, may issue certificate to commence operations for around 30 years. Again, this is just a draft. The third piece of news is that PNGRB has issued another notification where they actually revoked the previous notification dated 13 September 2021, which would allow more marketing freedom to all these city gas distribution companies. They say that now the exclusivity factors would consider a lot of things, not just the number of years. It would consider the location, gas availability, population, and aggregate demand as well. ICICI Securities says that this is positive for their coverage companies like MGL and Gujarat Gas and IGL as well, because there was a fear of more competition coming in with marketing exclusivity ending for a lot of these other companies. They see this notification to give some relief to existing CGD players that enjoy marketing exclusivity and something which is not ending in the near period.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Sonal. Well, BSE, that's the other stock that's in focus. Brokerage house Jefferies has issued a bullish note on the stock with a target price of 3,100 rupees. The stock is holding well on the green. Sudarshan joins us to fill us in with more details. Sudarshan?
So first, if I talk about the news, SEBI this week, basically on June 3, has formed an expert panel led by former RBI Deputy Governor Usha Thorat to examine two issues. One is ownership structure and second is finances of clearing corporations. If I talk about ownership, panel to suggest feasibility of broadening the list of eligible investors to take stake in clearing corporations. It will also examine the need for altering the caps on shareholding of entities, and suggested alternatives should keep in view periodic capital needs of a clearing corporation. In the finances part, panel to suggest need to review current structure of levying of clearing charges or fees and preparedness of clearing corporations to cover capital expenditures and investment. So how will it have an impact on BSE? BSE owns 100% stake in its clearing arm ICCL, that is known as Indian Clearing Corporation Limited. And in FY24, ICCL contributed 28% to revenue and 32% to profit before tax of BSE. So considering all these factors, Jefferies has issued a note maintaining buy call with a target of Rs 3,100 per share.
All right, 3,100 after a big move that we've seen on BSE already. Jefferies believes there's room for some more, but just keep an eye on a couple of these names. We have Greenply Industries, which is now up 6.5%, 7% as we speak. IFB Industries up around 14%, and these are broader market cash stocks. Shalimar Paints up around 10%. We're seeing some traction in Dilip Buildcon as well, up around 7%, along with some of the other names. We have Restaurant Brands Asia, the one that operates Burger King outlets in India and in Indonesia as well. That's the one which is up around 5%. In an otherwise, wobbly week for these stocks, they're pulling back once again in today's trading session. And in such a market, let's get you some ideas for profit. And this one comes in from our colleagues at Money Control Pro as always. Today we have Anant Chaudhary joining in.
So today's stock idea is Sirca Paints Limited, manufacturer of premium and luxury wood coating products and decorative paints under the brand Sirca. It is a market leader in North India, holding a market share of 48%. Sirca has an exclusive tie-up with Sirca Italy for manufacturing and distribution rights in India, Nepal, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. We recommend Sirca for several reasons. Over the last 10 years, the wood coating industry has expanded rapidly. Earlier, the wood coating used to comprise 2% of the paint market, now represent over 15%. Sirca has established a robust brand presence in the North region, especially in Delhi and Punjab, because of the high quality products and the global Italian brand reputation, despite competition from the leading player like Asian Paints. Company has recently invested 35 crore in a new facility for decorative paints. Currently, its utilization is around 40%, and at peak, it can do some 250 crore of revenue. Additionally, Sirca aims to capture the economic segment of the wood coating to expand the addressable market, which will also support its pan-India distribution network. Management has guided for a 40% revenue growth in FY25 while maintaining the operating margins. The stock trades at 23 times on FY26 earnings. Key risk for Sirca is the potential overcapacity concern following the Grasim entry into the paint industry.
Thanks a lot for that, Anand. Taking note of commentary on that particular company. For the time being, slip in a short break. Come back. We continue to focus on markets. Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, from the broader markets, you have some stocks that are coming for some mild profit taking. Voltas, case in point, just pull up the intraday chart. It was looking quite good earlier today, and suddenly that stock has come off the high point of the day. So some routine profit taking is what we're seeing out there. Sun TV has been a stock that's been very, very strong, but that as well has come off close to 2% from the high point of the day. Jubilant Foodworks, that's the one we already highlighted earlier. That slipped a little bit. And AU Small Finance, you have the Nifty Bank that's up close to 500 points, but AU Small Finance, that's down as we speak. Mangalam, anything else?
Well, I'm looking at BPCL. Sachi just said that of all the PSU banks which are moving higher and all the PSU stocks which are moving higher, BPCL is the one that offers some more up move. And as we see, there has been a bit of a spike out there. And you spoke about the Nifty Bank doing well. Kotak Mahindra Bank, that one too has recovered a goodish bit from the lows. In fact, in the earlier part of the trading session, it was in the red and now has moved into the green to the high point of trade. In fact, the financial stocks and the finance area itself will be in a lot of focus because we have the RBI's Monetary Policy Committee meeting, which is currently underway. The policy decision due tomorrow, a CNBC-TV18 poll expecting status quo with the RBI maintaining its stance at its current levels. So let's hear out what the Citizens CNBC-TV18, Citizens MPC is expecting from the RBI this time around.
The first question, given the uncertain backdrop, what will the Reserve Bank's rate action, MPC's rate action be? Can I start with, Sajid?
On a hold.
Okay, hold. Soumya?
Pause.
Pause. Sonal?
Hold.
Hold. Samiran?
Yeah, it's a hold.
Hold. Okay. Dr. Sen, the entire committee is saying no action.
Hold.
Hold, yes, thanks. Let me get to the other one. The stance, any change, Sajid?
No change. Withdrawal of accommodation.
Withdrawal of accommodation. Soumya?
No change.
Sonal?
No change.
Shamiran?
No change.
Okay, this is not all that perfunctory. Dr. Sen, in the past you have said neutral. What's the stance now?
I continue to think no change simply doesn't make sense now.
Right.
There is no accommodation to withdraw.
Well, you definitely have one voice in the MPC supporting you. Dr. Verma also believes neutral. He has already dissented. Well, just very quickly, when do you all expect the first rate cut? Sajid?
Too many known unknowns, but somewhere in the third or fourth quarter of this year.
Okay, so that will be October onwards. Soumya?
You are in the third quarter of the current fiscal, so from October.
October. Sonal?
October.
Samiran?
October looks more likely now.
Okay. Dr. Sen, would you agree?
Well, yes and no. I would prefer to wait for the full budget to be presented before one takes a call on it.
All right, an interesting one coming in from the Citizens MPC. The RBI would take a pause and also not change their stance on withdrawal of accommodation. We'll take a more calibrated view perhaps after what takes place in the globe and also the first budget of the newly formed government. In the meanwhile, the market continues to do market things. 250 points up for the Nifty, closing in on that 22,900 mark for the frontline index. The Nifty Bank still holding with a gain of almost 500 points, about 450 points away from that 50,000 mark for that index as well. The mid-caps, they're taking your breath away. We have now the advance decline ratio has moved a little more in favor of advances than what it already was at the start of the open. So those crisscross lines come up for you. They're far away from crissing or crossing right now. It's a parallel track with the green only moving higher. We have nearly 10 stocks advancing for every stock which is declining. And the stocks which are advancing today from the lows, we have a big bump up that we're seeing in a lot of these PSUs and infra-related names, Nigel.
All right. On that note, though, we'll have to wrap up on this edition of Chartbusters. You stay with us, though. Trading Hour comes up next.